Hello and welcome back to Footy Unplugged. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my Premier League predictions. Look, I know it's a bit late and it seems like I've just waited until all the transfers and seen how each team has played, but it's just because I didn't have a channel before, so I would have done it before the season. But I feel like this could be a more accurate prediction than the other ones out there. And it's nice to have a prediction, after all the transfers are settled in. I've got some really bold shouts in this video, so stay tuned. Alright, starting off in last place, we've got Luton. If I did this before the transfer window in the first few games, I would have been like, Luton, I think they might get 19th, but they just look like a championship side, how they're playing. I thought their direct style of play would be more of a threat to Premier League opposition, but it seems like when they go long to Adebayo, there isn't enough players around them to win the knockdown. I guess the idea is to knock it onto either Carlton Morris or Barkley coming in, but I just don't see the attacking threat. I don't think their wing backs have shown enough. I thought Ryan Giles' delivery will look better from open play. I don't think it looks, exceptional yet. Bore, it looks promising, but again, I want more delivery. And the other thing is that they're playing a defensive style of football, and I don't think their centre backs are that good. If they get this Rob Holding in on loan, I think that would be a great deal. It seems harsh. I think they'll go down, but then I think this has been still a good experience for Luton. They've raised the value of their club so much, and they've got every chance to come straight back up with how clever their recruitment is. Second to last place, I've got Sheffield United. From the games I've seen them play, they've moved themselves off rock bottom to second last, so congratulations. I think actually some of the signings they made look really promising, Hammer looks like a great player, but you just cannot get past the fact they sold their two best players, Ndai and Sander Berge. They look quite defensively resolute, and I think their kind of overlapping centre-back play, which they're still doing now like they did last time in the Prem, will catch a few teams off guard. But I just can't see them picking up that many points. I don't think it's going to be like a Derby County situation like I thought it could have been at the start of the season. But I can't see him getting more than 30. Alright, for the final relegation position, I've got a team which I've not seen many other creators put in, and that's Burnley. A lot of people were rating Burnley very highly going into the season because they absolutely dominated the Championship. Company had them playing great football, and I appreciate all that. But Company's never managed a side before, which isn't the best team in the league until now. He did a good job at Anderlecht, but Anderlecht were the dominant force in Belgium, and Burnley dominant force in the Championship. They just seem quite easy to play against. Granted, they've only had 2 games, but they're quite easy to break down. When they're playing another possession-based side in the league, they seem to struggle. So, which is why I don't think they're going to pick up many points against top 6 or even top 10 teams. But their survival depends on if they can dominate the other relegation-threatened teams around them. But I easily could be wrong. I mean, there's a reason why other creators have ranked them higher. I've seen some people even put them higher as 12. But I just kind of feel like there's a Turkey 2018 World Cup situation when everyone's like, oh, don't sleep on Turkey. I'm sleeping on Burnley. Okay, narrowly missing the drop, I've got Wolverhampton Wanderers. They've lost Ruben Neves. They've lost João Moutinho. It's hard for any team to lose that, and they haven't been able to replace them because of their financial fair play restrictions. But Gary O'Neill has gotten playing better football than I thought they would be. They looked good against Man United. They won a game against Everton, a little bit lucky, but still a win. I think it's going to be a real scrap for the bottom. Burnley easily could pip them, in my opinion. Wolves could even finish higher, but I think it will be close, but I think they'll narrowly avoid the drop. Again, 16th position, I've got Everton. Everton, at time of recording, are sitting rock bottom of the Prem with 0 points. But I think they're playing alright. Yes, the problems is scoring goals. They haven't scored a goal yet. But the problem last year with them not scoring enough was about chance creation. They're creating chances. They've created about 4.4 XG, I think, off the top of my head in the season. But they're just not taking the chances right now. But they've got Beto in, and he looks like a decent enough finisher. Dan Juma, we know he can finish. If Calvert-Lewin can somehow manage to play more than 5 games this season, he will finish some chances. The goals are coming for Everton, and they're still a hard team to play against. I think Sean Dyche has got enough nous about him to be able to keep him out of the relegation zone. I think they'll be okay. I think people underrate how good the Everton squad is. There is a lot of good players in there. Yes, they're weak in some positions, especially wide, but I think they'll be fine. Alright, now for the greatest team to ever exist, we've got Nottingham Forest in 15th. This is an improvement of one position from last year, and I think that feels about right for the expectations of Forest fans. It is a concern at the moment because we're playing very defensive. We're playing like a 5-4-1. It's pretty dire football. But our counter-attack looks electric at the moment. Morgan Gibbs-White and Awoniyi, they're unplayable. And even if Brennan Johnson goes, which he might go tomorrow at time of recording, there's still rumours about bringing in Sangari, there's Alanga, there's still Felipe, there's Murillo. There's a lot of good players in that squad, which I think will keep us up. I mean, one possible scenario I can see happening is that Steve Cooper's defensive style of football just isn't working, and like we're in the relegation zone around December, and I can see the board pulling the plug on him, which I wouldn't want to do at all. I've met the guy, I love him, but like I could see that happening as well. So I think we'll stay up one way or the other. There's enough good players in that team. Alright, in 14th position I've got Fulham. I'm anticipating a big drop off from Fulham this year, which is expected because they've let go of their greatest striker in the last 10 years. And at the time of recording, I don't think they've brought in a striker replacement at the moment, which means it looks like they might be playing with Carlos Vinicius up top, or maybe Marco Silva might try something new and try like a false 9 with like Willian or something. But I back him to stay up still and avoid relegation quite comfortably because Marco Silva is a really smart coach. They've still got one of the premier CDMs in the division in Paulinia. And I feel like apart from the striker position and maybe centre-back depth, it's a full-fledged Premier League squad. They'll be okay. Maybe they'll struggle around Christmas time, but then I think they'll splash big on a striker because they've got the money. I've got another team I'm a bit lower on than other people, which is Crystal Palace. Like Crystal Palace, you've got two main things going for them, which is their excellent centre-back pairing and Eze. But I just see an issue going into the season without having a proper striker who's going to guarantee you like 12 goals. Still starting Jordan Ayew, who admittedly has been rejuvenated since Roy Hodgson's come back, but he's old. I can feel the drop off coming, and I'm still not sold in their fullback positions. Like they're good defensively, but going forward, then they're still not much. But again, there's enough individual quality in that team that they will be fine. I just can't see them significantly improving, which is a shame because for a while now, it feels like Crystal Palace are like due a big season because they've got, again, some great individual talent there. It just hasn't come together yet. Maybe Mateus will explode. I really rate him highly coming out of the Brazil League. I just hope maybe next year they will sign a few more players and really take that big leap, which I know they are due. Alright, in a comfortable 12th position, I've got Bournemouth. I really love the idea of what the new manager was doing, just high pressing. In Spain last year for Rayo Vallecano, right? That's who he managed. They won possession more than any other side in the division, but they gave away possession more than any other side in the division. So it's just going to be chaos watching Bournemouth this year. I do think there's going to be some growing pains though. You can see in the Tottenham game that they just kind of lost confidence in their press once Tottenham comfortably started playing around them, even though I thought they were there to be got at, because Tottenham still got growing pains from playing the ball out from the back. But I know that they're going to start cooking at some point. The signings they brought in look really exciting. Alex Scott, Clivert. Oh yeah, and Tyler Adams. I think Tyler Adams is an amazing coup by them. So I think it's going to be a really good season by Bournemouth. I think maybe, again, the season after might be the one where they really push on. But they've got rich owners now. They've always been a smart football club. Forward thinking. Okay, in 11th position I've got Brentford. I think this is quite a safe spot to put Brentford because I think they're going to be anywhere from like 12 to 8. Because they're Brentford, they always finish in that position, and it doesn't even look bad if you get those, wrong by a couple of spaces. They've lost Ivan Toney, yes, but they still are such a hard team to play against. Wissa and Mbuemo, they're just pacey ballers. They're a nightmare to play against because you can't break them down easily. They can just sit back, and their counter-attack looks so exciting. And with the signings of Sade, I think they're rumoured for Johan Bakayoko as well. If they can get him through the door before the transfer deadline shuts, they're just going to be such a threat on the counter. They've got quality all over the pitch. I love Jensen. I love Ben Mee. Rico Henry's most underrated left back in the Prem. I think Thomas Frank is a genius. I think he should be getting a big job in the next couple of years. Okay, in 10th position I have got West Ham. I think before the season started, everyone's been a bit too harsh on West Ham because of how poor the year it was last year. And of course they've lost Declan Rice, their best player, but this has been a textbook example on how to replace your key asset with loads of good players. I think giving James Ward-Prowse to David Moyes seems illegal. Him on set pieces, swinging it into Souček, disgusting. I think Alvarez is an unreal signing by them. I think he could have gone to a top 6 club. The defensive output and always been incredible at Ajax. And kudos, I have no idea how they managed to get him. I can see them selling him in like a few years for Declan Rice money. It's been unreal business. The one black cloud that's looming over the head so right now is the Paqueta situation. It does look a bit suspect. There's quite a bit of evidence against him. And I can see a lengthy ban happening if it's proven true. Alright, 9th I've got Brighton. I wanted to be brave for Brighton, and maybe I should have been, because they always surpass everyone's expectations. De Zerbi's got them playing brilliant football again. But in that West Ham game, you saw a weakness. So if they come up against like well-organised defensive counter-attacking teams, I feel like they can get unstuck, and their possession play is excellent. But I can't see them regularly beating and getting results against top 6 sides who are just simply better at it than them. But they easily can get top 7. They've got the capabilities in the squad. They've got the manager and the play style to be able to do so. It's Brighton. They're the smartest club in the Premier League. I feel like their signings are always going to hit. What more can I say? It's Brighton. Bit unlucky to be here. Alright, in 8th position, I've got Aston Villa. I feel like this might be a bit of a shock to some people. Some people are rating Villa very highly. I've seen them high as 5th in a lot of predictions. And they signed really well. Diaby is an unbelievable signing. They've still got Unai Emery, which I think is an elite coach. But I can see maybe a bit of second season hitting with that second season syndrome with Unai Emery. And I just feel like they can maybe get found out. I still think they're quite weak in the fullback positions, especially considering depth. And I just think maybe the teams ahead of them, squad's still better. They, again, like Brighton, they easily could be higher. But I've got some bold shouts coming up. Alright, in 7th, I've got Newcastle United. I've got a bit of a down year for them. This is kind of based off 2 things. One, they've got Champions League football to contend with this year, and of course they're going to be giving that a big go. But also, in the games against Man City and Liverpool, which just happened, I wanted to see the Newcastle United, which they're trying to be. They're trying to be this Big 6, now Big 7 club. But against Man City, they played away like Nottingham Forest would play against Man City. Just sit back and hope they don't score. They didn't have any kind of counter-attacking threat. They had nothing. It was just like a hope and pray situation. And against Liverpool at home, they kind of got handed the lead by Liverpool just completely losing their heads. And then they just bottled that game. And I think they bottled it because Eddie Howe just wasn't brave enough. Taking off Anthony Gordon, who was having probably his best game for Newcastle. He was absolutely torching Trent Alexander-Arnold. And they somehow managed to lose at home, even though St James's Park should be a fortress. So yeah, I'm just a little bit disappointed in Newcastle at the moment. But I feel like this isn't their year, okay? I think it's next year. They need to get maybe 1 or 2 more world-class players in. And then I could see them finishing higher 3rd. They've got a great building point. They've got time. Do not worry, Newcastle fans. Do not hate me. You'll be fine. Alright, straight after them, I've got Man United. I'm worried about Man United at the moment. I feel like Ten Hag has just thrown away all these principles he said he was going to bring to the club. It seemed like with the signing of Mason Mount, they were going to play 2 attacking 8s. But Mason Mount has his uncanny ability to find these pockets of space that do not affect the match whatsoever. And now they're linked with Højbjerg and Amrabat. And it seems like they're going to play with 2 holding midfielders, because Casemiro doesn't seem like he can play in the 6 alone anymore. It doesn't seem like he's got the legs. Which means Bruno Fernandes will be put in the 10, which is, I think, his best position. But it just seems like papering over the cracks. Where is this possession-based football? They just reverted back to Ollie ball, counter-attack. Hopefully Marcus Rashford will get his pace in behind. He'll get us some goals. Their defence is still excellent, and I think they'll be a hard team to play against. But I can see a lot of draws and drop points against mid-table sides this year. And I'm just a bit disappointed with Ten Hag at the moment. I expected a lot more after the start he had last year. Okay, narrowly missing out on the top 4, I've got Chelsea. I think the argument for Chelsea at 5th is quite self-explanatory. They've got a lot of great players in, but it's going to take time to embed them all. There is a bit of a red flag at the moment, though, with Pochettino, because he played a 4-2-3-1 the whole of pre-season in every single game. And now every single game in the Prem, He's playing a 5-back, which he's never done in his career before. It's a bit disjointed, like Colwill hasn't been that impressive, but mainly because he's basically been playing left back, while Chilwell's been playing at a left mid. And I do worry a bit about Caicedo being called a flop, because I've always thought this with Caicedo. I think he might be worth the money, or he'll become worth the money. But he's not a very aesthetic player to watch, though the fail compilations could be pretty nuts. But again, they've got some great players. I think Sterling's finally hitting form. I like this Nico Jackson. He gets in really good positions. And Enzo Fernandez is looking like he might be one of the top 3 centre mids in the league. I mean, he probably definitely is, right, at the moment? But that means I've got a surprise inclusion in the top 4. And it's Tottenham Hotspur. Yes, I'm on board the Tottenham train. I've been on board the train since the season started. I feel like if I did this prediction early August, I would still put them quite high up than what other people are saying, because I decided to watch a lot of their preseason games because I'm just quite sad like that. But it's so exciting to watch them right now, and I just can't help but root for them. I really want this style of football to work. They've still got some issues, like if one of their centre-backs gets injured, they've got absolutely no depth behind it. Richarlison just doesn't seem to be working right now. But I just back Ange. I thought maybe this is me willing them more than predicting them to be 4th. I just want to be bold with them. I think they'll get a top 4 spot, which would be an unbelievable season for them after losing their greatest ever Premier League player. Okay, 3rd, I feel like this is quite an obvious one with the teams they're mating, which is Liverpool. Again, I saw a few people predict them 2nd, but there still seems to be some issues at Liverpool. Yes, it was an amazing comeback against Newcastle, but the first half, it highlighted some problems. Van Dijk doesn't seem to be at this elite level anymore. His red card, there's no way he's making that challenge. A couple of years ago, like pre-injury, he would have just relied on his strength and pace to manage to shoulder the player off the ball. And I don't think Klopp has decided whether to fully invert Trent, to play him CDM, to have him right back invert, to keep him wide at some points. It just seems to be a lot of growing pains. But Solobasai, again, is that how you say his name? I never know how to say his name. But he looks excellent, really exciting. Darwin Núñez, I back him to get 15 at least this year. And Diaz looks like he's back on top form. If they lose Salah, though, that would be a big issue. The team is still built around Salah. So if he does go, which I don't think he will, then I think they could drop out of the top 4. But again, I don't think this will be the year for Liverpool. I don't think there'll be some serious contenders for the Premier League title. That means 2nd place, I have got Arsenal. There do seem to be some issues right now at Arsenal. Timber looked to be an amazing signing after his first few games, but unfortunately now he's injured for quite a long time. And Arteta seems to be insisting on doing this weird thing with playing Partey at right back, which takes away the best things about Partey's game and the best things about Ben White's game. Like, Saka looks really isolated right now in their attack. They're kind of like playing isolation basketball, if anyone knows what that is in basketball, when you just give it to your best player, clear out the way and let him dribble and try and score. But that is not a winning strategy in basketball. And of course there's the issues with Kai Havertz, but I don't know if it's just Kai Havertz. I feel like they've got a striker, a left winger and a left attacking midfielder who all likes operating in the same left half space of the penalty area, and they just don't really seem to be clicking right now. I think the solution is either just going to come with time, so they can become more fluid with their switching positions, or they just need players to be more rigid with their positioning. Like maybe the striker needs to stay more centrally, maybe Martinelli needs to just hug the touchline the whole game. But again, I back Arteta. I think he's a good manager, and their individual quality, like even in the Forest game when they weren't playing well, Saka can still score a worldie out of nowhere. I think they'll be good this season, but I don't think they'll actually be as good as last season, even though on paper they have improved via player quality. I know that's quite a bold take, but that's what a prediction is. So then, that means congratulations to Man City, you have won the league in my prediction video. But again, like Arsenal, I do see a few issues with Man City. Of course, De Bruyne has gone out injured, but they're also playing this new 4-2-4 formation, which is kind of just like pigeonholing Kovacic in, who, by the way, he looks like a Man City player. Like the way he carries the ball, the way he passes, it's so classy. I get that. But to be able to fit him into the team, you've got to play this 4-2-4, which I do not like, because you cannot play the CDM position alone, and of course, you wouldn't be dropping Rodri. But this 4-2-4, it just feels rigid and uncreative. They built all their success off last year of having these 5 attackers all taken up the 2 half spaces, the wings and the central position. But now, like, when teams play a 5 back against them, they've always got 1 free defender, and Kovacic and Rodri aren't really running past centre backs. It kind of means that Kyle Walker's got to have a really high attacking year, which he hasn't had for the last few years. He hasn't gone above 2 assists, I think, in about 5 years. But it looks like this could be Foden's year. He could be taking over the reins from De Bruyne. And of course, they still got Haaland. They've got the best squad in the league. I do not see them conceding more than 20 goals. I could see them breaking Chelsea's record, to be honest. And Pep Guardiola is a lot smarter man than me. He's obviously got a plan with his 4-2-4 formation. It's probably just growing pains. I'm sure they'll get over it and they'll win the league. I think they're going to win, let's say, by 7 points this year. I don't think it's going to be a record points haul. I think it's going to be around 88 and Arsenal get 81. That's my specific prediction. If either of those 2 are right, I'm a genius. Okay, thank you for watching today, guys. If you're a fan of any teams I mentioned in the video, don't get salty. I'm right. I know most about football about anyone on the internet. But please do let me know your opinions. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, give me a subscribe, and check out the other videos on the channel. They're not bad. But until next time, I'll see you later.